The United States was the first country in the world to develop and deploy nuclear weapons. But why did it do so? And how did it manage to beat its rivals to the punch? Let's delve into the history of nuclear weapons to find out more. Following the end of World War I, the U.S. found itself in a peculiar position. It had emerged from the conflict as a global superpower with far-reaching responsibilities. As other nations demobilized their militaries and attempted to return to civilian life, the U.S. expanded its military and began to flex its economic and political might on the world stage. The U.S. also possessed a large number of highly trained scientists and researchers who had been brought in to help with the war effort. Many of these individuals would go on to play key roles in the Manhattan Project, the top-secret initiative that ultimately led to the development of the first atomic weapons. Meanwhile, the U.S. had a major head start over its European rivals when it came to scientific research. This was largely due to the fact that it had not been significantly impacted by the war. As a result, American scientists were able to continue their work relatively uninterrupted, whereas their European counterparts had to put their research on hold, or even abandon it altogether. Despite it, there is perhaps one even more compelling reason as to why the U.S. was able to develop the first nuclear weapon. In 1930, a team of physicists led by Otto Hahn at the University of Berlin successfully carried out the first nuclear fission reaction. This groundbreaking experiment split a uranium atom, releasing an unprecedented amount of energy. News of the discovery quickly reached the U.S. and British officials, who immediately recognized the potential implications of this new technology. As Albert Einstein later wrote to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, this new power has raised the possibility of a new type of bomb of very great power. Adding that it was the opinion of some experts that such bombs could be constructed in the course of a few months. Now, fearing that the Germans would be the ones to develop such a weapon, the U.S. wasted little time in launching its own nuclear research program. In fact, by 1939, it had already begun experimenting with nuclear reactors. 2 years later, the project would be given the name Manhattan. The following question, then, is, what was the main goal of the Manhattan Project? The simple answer was to build a nuclear bomb before the Nazis, under the direction of J. Robert Oppenheimer, a brilliant but somewhat controversial physicist. The project's various teams worked feverishly to achieve this goal. By 1945, they had succeeded. On July the 1st, atomic bomb was tested in the New Mexico desert. Dubbed the Trinity Test, the device created a mushroom cloud that rose 60,000 feet into the sky. Less than 2 months later, 2 Japanese cities would be vaporized by the bombs dropped on them. In the aftermath of the bombings, many people have questioned whether or not the use of atomic weapons was justified. After all, Japan had already surrendered, and many felt that the devastation wrought by the bombs was unnecessary. Nevertheless, those who oversaw the bombings argued that they were necessary to end the war as quickly as possible and thus save lives. In the years since, the U.S. has developed many different types of nuclear weapons. Today, however, we are no longer in a race to beat the Soviet Union, to develop in ever more powerful bombs. Instead, the focus has shifted to developing smaller, more precise weapons that can be used in a variety of different scenarios. It should also be noted that while the U.S. was the first country to develop nuclear weapons, it is by no means the only one. Today, there are 9 countries in the world that possess such weapons. These are the United States, Russia, France, China, the United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Although the threat posed by nuclear weapons has diminished since the end of the Cold War, they remain a serious concern. After all, even one of these weapons used by the wrong person could cause untold devastation. For this reason, the U.S. and other countries continue to invest heavily in nuclear weapons research. They hope that by developing new and innovative technologies, they can make nuclear weapons more safe and secure. Only time will tell how successful these efforts will be. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you for watching.